So guys, we have been talking about this for the last couple of months, and throughout that entire time we have been seeing various indications that the next generation hardware is coming out soon. Ever since the company had announced the Robotaxi, they have been endlessly trying to get the software and hardware to a level where they feel comfortable launching the ride-hailing service. And at this point, with the current progress of full self-driving 12.5, they are no doubt at a level where software has surpassed hardware. Tesla has indirectly announced that they will be ending support for older hardware, as keeping them alive and maintaining them will take critical resources away from development. So this means that all focus will be on the current and latest hardware suite. If you want to know more about this and what they have done recently in the latest software update to keep it going for a little bit longer, go check out my previous video. I'll drop it in the description and up top there. Now, even though they are soon dropping support for hardware 3 and transitioning over to the next generation AI model, this does not mean that the new hardware, the latest and current one that is in our cars today, is going to be relevant for much longer. It's quite obvious here that we are talking about hardware 4, a chip that has been released just 2 years back. If you want to know if your car has hardware 4 or not, it's quite easy. Head outside to your car, look at the cameras, and look for a red flare inside of the lens. That is the new tint that has been included in this hardware suite to avoid the reflections of the sun, as well as improved night vision. But if going outside and looking at the camera isn't enough, you can be rest assured that any car built after January 2024 is going to include the latest hardware suite. Alright, so even though Tesla is currently training on hardware 4, it is always in their best interest to look at future years to come, and this is why they are bringing out the next generation hardware suite. Now, it's quite sad to say, but we have gone through various reasons as to why hardware 4 is not going to be the chip that reaches full true autonomy. It was quite honestly a stepping stone upgrade. It was never their intention to release a chip that would only be superseded in less than 2 years. Now, if you want to know more about why that's the case and why hardware 4 should have never existed, go check out my other video that explains everything in more detail. Now, in the last couple of months, we have seen numerous reports and sightings of a new sensor suite being tested on some prototype and engineering vehicles, specifically the new Model 3 and Model Y prototypes. From a distance, we have early previews of what the next generation suite of sensors will look like and exactly how they'll be positioned around the car. This suite of hardware here was originally planned to be called Hardware 5, but in the revolution of AI, Elon decided to switch its name to AI 5. Now, because of my slow adaptation, I will be calling it Hardware 5 for the next little while until things catches on, but AI 5 will be its official name, and Elon has confirmed that it will be about 18 months out before mass production begins. If you want to know more about AI 5 and everything that it brings to the table, there is a lot of good stuff that you are not going to be expecting. Go check out my previous video as well. It goes into all the hybrid lens technology and all the various ways they are doing to get water droplets off of those cameras. Go check out my previous video. I will link it in the description below and in the pinned comments. That is a video you don't want to miss. So now, getting straight to the point of this video, we have seen various sightings throughout the last couple of months and then into the more recent weeks of a new Model 3 driving around the streets of California, and this is our first indication of what we can expect in the future cars to come. First off, we started seeing our very first Model 3 engineering vehicle solo supercharging at a station a few months back, looking stealthy and gray with all the new camera sensors. Then we started seeing more and more videos of them driving around the streets of California with slight modifications to the stickers and camera positioning. And just about a week ago, we got some clean images of another Model 3 with the same dangling body parts, but this time with a driver inside. The saddest part about all this is even with the clearest images, no one has really gone close up to the car within inches and gotten some photos of the new sensors themselves. This would be the most critical part of all this, and to see it compared next to another Hardware 4 car, we'll get to see the differences and how they look side by side. All of that hasn't happened for the last couple of weeks, but fortunately enough for us, just yesterday, a user on Twitter that goes by Darren W has spotted 3 different cars sitting side by side at a supercharging station, and all of them being the engineering vehicles. They were pretty much identical in every way, but some having engineers sitting inside and others do not. So of course he went up to the one that has nobody, and he got the clearest images possible of each and every one of those sensors. Now, dissecting this a little bit more, what we've discovered is that they are generally angling all the cameras further away from the car, almost as if the cameras are no longer including any of the body panels when pulling up the preview on the display. What we also see is that this is an extremely makeshift job, and it will take a lot of design work to fully integrate this into any vehicle. Then finally, if we look closely at the cameras themselves, being that this is our very first time that we get to see the lens, we can see that this is definitely not hardware 4 due to the red flare lens not being there. These cameras here are fully transparent, similar to that of the Model 3, although the lens itself is much larger. So ultimately, we can conclude that Tesla has solved the glaring and nighttime issue without having to include the red tint film. This means that the car will be able to do everything it's able to do now without having the distinctive red light to it. So yeah, as we see more and more of these test engineering vehicles on the road, we get a closer preview of what we can expect in our future vehicles to come. This means that 18 months down the line, we should be seeing each and every one of the vehicles include these sensors. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to say that what they're doing right now is likely for the Robotaxi, and I do hear you. That is probably the case, but it doesn't change the fact that these exact sensors are going to be the same sensors making its way to every single current model, as well as every new model that Tesla plans to release. All of this is going to include new adjustments to the camera placements. It's going to include a better lens, but not to mention that it is also going to be bringing additional sensors such as the front bumper camera, the radar on the outside dubbed the Phoenix radar, as well as interior radar that we have seen on the Cybertruck. And then it's going to include a couple more cameras such as the front and rear cross traffics. So yeah, there is a lot of stuff planned out for hardware 5, and I can't say that I'm not excited for it. I don't know as of right now if those of you that want to buy a new car, if it's really worth waiting 18 months down the line, or if it's better just to pick one up now. But we do know that hardware 4 is going to be supported for a long time, but it is not going to include and bring a ton of new features. So yeah, I will be keeping my eyes out and paying attention like a hawk to make sure you guys are as updated as possible on anything related to hardware 5 and practically anything else in the Tesla realm. So make sure you guys stick around and hit that subscribe and bell notification, and follow me on Twitter at HeyJohnE. You guys will likely hear things first over there before I push out a video. But anyways, this should be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is John once again. Peace out.